So we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Chattanooga Beer Board. And first thing I'd like to do is welcome our newest member, Zach Ashley. Zach, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate your volunteering for the board very much. So I'd like to remind all meeting attendees to make sure you've signed in over here at the podium for our Public Notice Meeting Act. All electronic devices should be turned off or muted so as not to disrupt the meeting. So that includes us board members. Individuals wishing to address the board today must do so from the podium. Please adjust the microphone and state your name before making your comments. And if you would, speak up and speak directly into the microphone because sometimes it's hard for us to hear up here what you're saying that way. There are no approval of the minutes. No minutes were recorded and the court reporter was present and documented.
We have minutes.
Oh, we do? I'm sorry. Yes, we do. Pardon me. I didn't look. I apologize. So we have the minutes of the September 5th, 2024 meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right. Is there a second? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so those are good.
And I do apologize, that was my mistake on the agenda.
Ma'am?
That was my mistake on the agenda.
Oh, well. All right, very good. At this time, I'll ask the court reporter to swear in. If you're coming before the board today and speaking, you'll need to be sworn in.
Please stand and raise your right hand if you're going to be speaking today on any case. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, the first item on our agenda is beer applications approved by regulatory, and I'll read those into the record. Bar Sarber Para Balaria. I'm sorry, I mispronounced that terribly. I apologize. There's that. And then that's the only one that's been approved by regulatory before the meeting started. So next item on the agenda is beer applications passed from previous meeting. So Bertha, when you're ready, please, ma'am.
First one is Nacho Libre Taqueria LLC. Michelle Vasquez and Fernando Berguno.
Is anyone here for Nacho Libre? All right, now this was passed from the previous meeting. Any updates on it?
It shows it's on hold from building.
Hold from building, okay. Let's see exactly. Not there yet. All right. Well, is there a motion to approve that, pass that to the next meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All righty, I'll call the roll. Christie? Veronica?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
JW?
Yes.
Reginald?
Yes.
Betsy?
Yes.
And Zach?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And the chair votes yes.
Miss one.
Brooke? I'm sorry, Brooke.
Yes.
Okay. How did I do that? I apologize.
Madam Secretary.
I apologize.
Okay, I have no feelings.
Okay, Bertha?
Next applicant representing Nuga Taps LLC, Paul David Smith and Rebecca Smith are making an application to engage in the sale of consumer beer at 1511 Williams Street. The two have not had a permanent beer permit, but has had a temporary beer permit in the past at this location. The location is owned by Bobby Colvin and is zoned FBC UCX.
And it shows it's on hold from building.
Okay, to bring everybody up to date, this is a unique situation in that this is a vacant lot and and it's a food truck set up, so there is no permanent building on the lot for building to inspect. So therefore, we need some help from the administration to figure out what to do on this because there's nothing for them to sign off on. Any suggestions from any of the board members? I'm pretty much at a loss. I guess I'll need to reach out to Chris Anderson and say, we've got this, first time this has ever come up, in that it's a food truck, but he is going to be selling beer. And there'll be food, so there's no permanent building on this for the building inspectors to inspect.
So, quick question, have you talked to the building inspectors since the last hearing?
Not since last hearing, no. I'm Paul Smith,
Thank you,
this
sir.
tax, by the way. He called me before, it's just a vacant lot, there's existing walls left from the other buildings that were there, and then it's fenced off on one side. So, there's nothing to expect for a lost lot.
May I ask, who is he?
The building inspector, so that was, what's his name, Brian?
It's not Zach.
Or, is it Brian or Brian?
Okay.
Are you gonna be using any electricity?
Yes, there'll be electricity to keep my refrigerators cold, to serve the beer.
So is that a building inspection for them to sign off on?
Where would the electricity come from?
I don't know, where's the electricity coming from?
They've got it all through the ground there, that it's gonna be stubbed up for and it'll be on the side of the building, the existing building that's already there, for the food trucks to plug into as well.
So if it's,
It's kinda like I guess if you were at an RV site, it's kinda like those are stubbed up against a wall.
Let me interrupt here just for a second for the board. Since we don't have, the layout is not correct yet, last week we had a problem with talking over each other, so if you would raise your hand if you wish to speak and let me recognize you so our court reporter can get everything down correctly. Okay. So any other questions here?
How does there's a temporary permit already, is that correct?
Was that we didn't end up using, they were wanting to do this year round, so in the beginning, I thought they were wanting me to just do it for that month, but then it turns out they're wanting to do this year round. So that's where we turned into getting a year round permit.
So with the temporary permit, they were allowed to serve beer?
Yep.
Already?
And I was allowed to serve draft too, without inspection by the health department either. But now we're doing cans because I just didn't feel like dealing with the health department right away on this first year of it. So now we'll just be selling cans.
Were there any
So, but we
issues,
were passed and there was no issues before that on that 30-day one, no.
was there any discussion by the beer board when that temporary permit was issued?
Trying to remember.
We had discussion and we seemed to have everything in order that time, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was temporary. The temporary was approved. Right. So
But if I
issue
keep
is-
applying for a temporary, that gets expensive. If I do
Right.
that every 30 days.
so you have to renew it every 30 days, of course, yeah.
The issue is with temporary permits, events are outside as well, so you don't necessarily need a building inspection, only if it's inside a building. Whereas with a permanent beer permit, there's a building inspection required. Well, if it's outside, usually they're connected to like a parklet or a building of some sort. So this is just kind of a quirk of the code that we need to figure out how to navigate. Whether that means a addition to the code, which can take some time because, legislation have to be drafted and it has to be passed through, city council, or, we get with building and try to figure out if there's a way around this.
JW.
Chair, I make a motion, Zach is on his way, building is on his way. If we can just pass this.
Okay.
Till Zach get here.
Zach's not,
Zach
What is
is
he doing?
zoning, he's not building.
He's not, okay.
So him being here does not.
But the last time he was here, he did something May calls as well, didn't he? No. Didn't he call
I
somebody?
think he contacted someone
Yeah.
in the building department.
Right, okay.
All right, so, yes, ma'am.
Mr. Smith,
Yes, ma'am.
will that be your only location, or do you plan to move your truck and, once you get a permit, and go to other?
No, that's the only location, and even where we're putting it up on the lot, that'll be the permanent location for it, so. Because we got to make it to where the food trucks can come in and out and leave, because they'll be on a rotating, they can rent to stay there as long as they want, or, other food trucks can rent the spot when it's available.
Christie?
So is it, the electricity is coming from the building from one of the buildings that,
Yeah, so Bobby Colvin owns that whole lot, and this was a building that had burned down, I think, 3-4 years ago. So it's just a flat concrete lot. And so the existing buildings, I guess, is where he's got the power from, or that's already there. But it's on the walls of that existing building now.
can it not, can we not, can it not serve as an extension of that building? The food truck?
So they're gonna run it
Do I
under-
need to build like a lean-to off that building?
So he's got the existing building, they'll run the electric service underground and come up where you're gonna be located.
Correct,
And where the other food trucks will be located.
correct.
Okay.
So there's technically
So the
still two
building has
walls. There's the
nothing
wall
to
here,
do
wall
with
there.
it. So the building has nothing to do with it other than it's the source of electricity.
Right, and that's two different addresses.
Quick.
Yes,
So
Trevor?
he would have permission to have a permit, but what if anyone else wants to come in there to serve, would they have to have a permit as well, or would this just be for his particular ground?
Well, I think your setup, correct me if I'm wrong, but your setup is you'll be the only beer vendor.
Correct.
No food trucks will be allowed.
No one else will be allowed to.
Right. I like that idea. That way you can keep up with what's going on. Right.
Are they allowed to take their beer from just out, is it fenced in? The area fenced in, or can they continue to walk or go wherever?
No, it's all enclosed in.
Oh,
So
okay.
even from the sidewalk, there's, I would say about a 3-foot concrete wall that they have there with ways that you can walk in through it. So you can't just walk in and out with the beer. And where I'm at, you'll be closed in. There's a chain link fence behind me and it blocks off on the other side as well.
All right, we have a motion to put, well, the way the system is set up right now, until building approves it, it's not gonna happen. That's the way the system is set up right now. And this is terrible. This has been going on for 6 months,
At least.
at least.
Yeah.
So we've got to have a resolution of this. And, Zach, yes, sir?
The owner owns both lots, the building next door
Yeah,
and the
he owns that and he owns the parking lot across the street too.
What's involved in changing the map parcel to where it includes it's just one address? That might solve the problem.
I'm pretty sure it's still one address. I think all the buildings, just one part of this building burned down.
So it's a subdivided, one property that's subdivided?
Yeah, I think he has somebody renting that one on the back side of it, but other than that, it's all still 1511 William Street.
So, I see what you're saying. If it's all one address, then why not use the building that's attached to the lot and that building get the beer permit? And since it's all on the same property, that should work.
It might not even be subdivided, it sounds like, if it's just one long piece of property that had one building on it.
Yeah.
So we would need to get with building and talk with them about this and see if that's something that they can inspect the building that's on the premises. And then maybe we can move this through the pipeline that way.
Well, okay, any other comments? I'll play devil's advocate. So now the building inspector is gonna go into that building and say, this is wrong and this is wrong, and you gotta fix this and you gotta fix that, and you gotta fix this. And if I'm the person, I'm not happy. Because this building has nothing to do with what we're doing other than furnishing electricity. Okay,
It's that option, or trying to get the code changed,
yeah.
or continuing to get the temporary beer permit. Those are the three options I see right now.
Does the director of the building inspection have the authority to approve it?
Yeah.
Okay,
They do.
all right. I'm just, Christie?
The building that we're talking about, is it operational? Is it habitable? Like how does it?
As far as I know, it's operational. So I think he does have renters on one side using it. I'm not sure what it's for though. I don't know, and I know he stores stuff in and that one's building on to the backside.
So that could answer your question, like, if the inspector goes in. It might be, okay.
Well, let's put this, we have a motion to put this to the, delay it on the agenda till our zoning inspector gets here, and he can maybe make some phone calls and shed a little light on it for us, so.
And the why on that is, I'm hearing, and they can clear it up, the building inspector been by there,
Yes,
but there's no building to inspect, so
Correct.
he intentionally meant to skip it.
well, he signed up, he wrote something on there, I can't.
Yeah, no building.
There was no building to
Yeah, that's-
inspect.
Yeah, no building to inspect, and so that's why we're here.
Right,
So he, and so, they're making phone calls even now, just trying to see, but he said there's no building to inspect.
Right.
And so we're probably going to have to go with, Catherine just said, and it's going to have to go higher and make some changes.
All right, all right, we have a motion to delay this to let's act on the motion.
Okay.
Was there a second to that motion?
Second.
All in favor of delaying this to the end of the agenda, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, very good. This is good trial by fire, Zach.
No, it's not.
Okay. This is the first time, I've been on the board 10+ years, this has never come up before. This is, you hear about things falling between the cracks. This is a good example of a gray area that we've got to address. All right.
Next applicant, Fiestival, was approved by regulatory this morning.
Okay.
Which one?
Number 1, temporary. River City Company,
Yeah, what? I thought you said-
Fiestival. You don't see it on your,
The fee, who? You call,
you don't see it on yours either?
no, mine is River City Company.
Oh, no, I made a correction on mine. It's called Fiestival. Fiestaval.
And it's been approved by regulatory?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's great.
That is River City Company though?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha, okay.
All right.
Any other questions?
Okay, that takes care of the temporary beer permit. Now, new beer applications.
Representing Ming Jeans LLC, doing business as Ming Jeans, James Tyler Van Aken and Emily Van Aken and Joshua Mongovan are making application to engage in the sale of consumer beer at 1800 East Main Street. The three have not had a beer permit for this location in the past. The location is owned by Nuga TD1 LLC and is zoned C2.
It shows that it is on hold from building.
Okay.
Good morning, I'm Josh Mongovan. I'm representing Mean Jeans. This is my first time at a beer board meeting, so I'm not really super sure what to expect. But we are opening on 1800 East Main Street. Our plan is to be a neighborhood cocktail bar to really cater to the Highland Park neighborhood. Our goal is to be affordable. We have about a 7-item food menu. We're just excited to be a part of the bar industry in Chattanooga.
Okay. Josh, so its own building has not approved it. Are y'all still under construction and trying to finish things up? Or?
We actually passed our building inspection yesterday.
Okay.
Oh, so they may not have had a chance to click off on it in the system yet, if they passed yesterday.
Can we start asking somebody from building to be at these meetings as well?
You do.
Right.
Sounds like it.
As chairman, I'm gonna couch my language here a little bit, because I'm just about had it with this, okay? Y'all been down here, y'all have taken your time to come down here. It's passed yesterday. How hard is it to click? I know exactly what to do, because we have to do it. Click that box when you get back to the office, okay? I'm sorry, excuse me. All right, well, there's nothing we can do. Ron?
I do want to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
I looked at this on Google yesterday. There appears to be a building that is a commercial type building, and then there's a house butted right up next to it. And there appear to be two different addresses for those two buildings. Is this a building that you can go from one building to the other?
I think in the past you were able to do that, but since then the pass-throughs have been completely sealed. So they exist as two separate buildings, but there's the adjoining wall.
Okay.
Have a common wall.
Yeah, my guess
Are
is
you
that.
gonna be using both buildings?
No, sir. No, sir. The space next door that was previously a house is now like a studio space that has a dark room and a tattoo artist tattooing out of it. So, yeah, they're just, it's separate.
Thank you.
At this cocktail bar, are you doing live music, or you have a DJ, or?
No, sir. We have a CD jukebox that we have about 75 CDs in.
Okay, and what's your hours of operation?
Monday through Friday, we're going to be 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. And then Saturday, Sunday, we're going to be noon to 2 a.m.
So no offense, but is it nightlife club? I know we say cocktail bar, we say lounge.
I wouldn't call it a club, no. I mean, I would call us more of like a bar restaurant. Like we're going to serve food until 1 in the morning. We want, really our goal is to be like the home for restaurant workers after they're done with work.
With music?
Yeah, I mean, the jukebox. We're not going to have any live music or DJs. That's not the plan.
All right. Any outside seating?
There's a small front patio, yes.
Okay. We would caution you on music and doors open at 1 o'clock with neighbors
sure.
and things like that.
I don't have any plans on putting speakers outside, just speakers inside. And then the doors are glass, so I imagine we'll keep them shut most of the time.
Very good. All right.
The door, I'm sorry, follow up, the door to the outside patio, or?
It's the front door. The front door is kind of located on the patio. You walk onto the patio before you enter the front door.
Okay. All right, I think Reggie has.
Reggie?
You said neighborhood bar,
Neighborhood.
2 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then we got, that's on Main Street, the 1800 corner. New Life Churches, how far from that? The church on the corner that's on 18 and Willow?
18 and Willow. I mean,
big a
it's.
building or either inspection would have took and did that, check the zoning?
Oh, yeah. The previous space in our location had a beer permit already.
Okay.
And then there's two churches close. They're both outside of 500 feet.
300.
Okay, very good. All right. Zach?
Planning on opening for business.
I mean, we're just waiting on permitting. We've hired, we need to train. I think that we could be open in a week if we are granted permits.
Building just signed off.
Building just signed off. Okay.
It's happening.
Question, are you doing alcohol as well?
Maybe they felt.
Yes, the plan is to serve alcohol as well.
So have you already been to TABC?
We're in the process. We had our meeting with the TABC officer 2 days ago, and we're waiting on a zoning letter.
Right.
Okay.
All right, so now it has met all the requirements. Is that correct, Bertha? Okay. Any further questions from any of the board members? Is there a motion?
Move that we approve, Mean Jeans LLC.
A motion by Ron Smith, second by Zach. All right, thank
Are you
you.
gonna be going by that? Is that gonna be your
Just Mean Jeans.
Mean Jeans? Okay.
All right. Any discussion to the motion? If not, I'll call the roll. Brooke?
Yes.
Betsy?
Yes.
Reginald?
No.
J.W. Cole?
I say yes.
Ron Smith?
Yes.
Veronica?
Yes.
Christie? Did I call everybody but me?
Yeah.
Okay, and myself. I vote yes.
That.
Zach, I'm sorry, Zach. Zach?
Yeah.
And I vote yes, excuse me. Okay, very good. So the motion passes. All right, good luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
All right.
I know what you. Yeah.
So, is that something he signs off on or regulatory? Next applicant, representing Mean King Brewing LLC, doing business as Mean King Brewing. Camilla Nevis is making application to engage in the sale of consumer carryout beer at 1414 Jenkins Road, Unit 164. Ms. Nevis has not had a beer permit for this location in the past. The location is owned by SCGIV Narrow Bridge LLC and is zoned C2.
For their first application, it shows everything's approved.
So the first one is for manufacturers. That's number 2 on your agenda. Beer 1265. That one has been approved by regulatory.
Okay.
However, the consumer carryout for the same location, beer 1275, is on hold by building. I'm sorry, by
Zoning.
zoning.
So Bertha, what I just heard you say, number 2 has been approved by regulatory.
Correct,
And number 3 is on hold.
correct,
Okay.
From zoning.
correct.
Zoning.
All right. Well, I see the zoning guru is here. Zach, good morning.
1275, sir.
1275?
Yes, sir.
Mac, and this probably going to be toward attorney. How can we approve that same location, approve in one area and
I didn't hear.
The difference,
have a hiccup on another one?
It's 2 separate applications.
Correct.
Manufacturer. You're
um,
not selling it.
They're 2 separate
Address.
criteria for both. And I don't know if this is just, they haven't just signed off on it yet, because the first one was 265 and this is 275. So there's like 10 applications in between. So I don't know if it's just, oh, they haven't gotten to it yet, or if there's a legitimate issue with it.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
While we're waiting for them, would you come up and state your name, please, and tell us about your...
Hi, my name is Camilla Nevis. I'm representing Mean King Brewing. Just to tell you a little bit about the business, I'm the owner of Mean King Brewing. We are a small brewery, and we are seeking a manufacturer's permit as well as a consumer carryout permit. We will be making all beers on the premises as well as serving it through our tap room. We will also have to-go options available, and we are planning on self-distribution to local restaurants. We are a family-oriented location. We will be having chess tables available, board games available, as well as TVs for entertainment.
All right. All right, questions from the board?
Ron.
Ron?
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
Where is this located close to? What is it?
It's facing the entrance of Heritage Park. It's on Jenkins Road on the strip mall, as well as Loopy's Pizza and Brewster's Ice Cream.
Are you in the old Mojo Burrito building? Part of
Yes,
the building?
close to it. I think the restaurant next to us was Mojo Burrito. We are
Okay.
the unit on the far corner.
Yep. All right.
Are we sure of this this is building number 164?
Unit number 164, yes, sir.
Because I could not see that on the strip mall yet.
I did have issues when we first started this process. We had to get it regulated to sign off to begin with. It wasn't under, that unit specifically wasn't under it. But we got that approved a few months back.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Any other questions from any board members? Yes, ma'am.
What district is this considered and what's this building zone?
I'm not sure of the district.
This is,
We are on the junction of East Brainerd Road.
that's in yours, Dan, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, no, it's not. No district given on the map.
Well, it's District 4 right there.
Be District 4, yes.
It's right there by Brewster's, okay?
Yes, District 4. It's Council District 4, my district. And, zoning, I don't know, I have no clue what the zoning is on it. It's, Zach, can you shed some light on that for us?
I can't, give me a second.
Zach, I need to swear you in before you start talking too, so, sorry. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, we'll give Zach.
The zoning on this,
It's,
I believe this is gonna be C2, but
that's what I thought, yeah.
it's not showing me.
Said.
That's what it says on Beer 1265 on the, I guess, the manufacturer's application that is on
It says
C2.
C2, it is C2.
Okay.
I'm just looking up one thing real quick. And then, so this was in a different inbox.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just look at one thing regarding the park, and then we should be good to go.
Tasty Donuts is at the other end.
Yes, that's right.
I do know that.
$65 was for the manufacturers.
Correct.
75 is for carryout,
Consumer carryout.
consumer, and carryout. All right, there you go. You should see that record.
Yep, got it. Thank you.
So are
we're good.
all boxes checked? All right, excellent, very good. Okay, so any further questions of the applicant? All right, is there a motion?
Approve Mean Gene Brewing LLC 1275.
All right, that's by Reginald. Is there a second? Second, thank you. All right, I'll call the roll. Christie?
Yes.
Veronica?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
JW?
Yes.
Reginald?
Yes.
Betsy?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Brooke?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. All right, very good. Good luck.
Thank
Look
you so
forward to
much.
seeing you out
Thank you,
there.
appreciate it, members of the board.
All right.
Next applicant, representing ANUJ Corporation. And I apologize if I mispronounced this name, but it's Sanjeev Bharadwaj. Make an application to engage in the sale of carryout beer at 8126 East Brainerd Road, Unit 104. He has not had a beer permit for this location in the past. The location is owned by H&K Properties LLC and is zoned C2.
And it shows is on hold for building and legal.
Is, I don't know what the, building issue is.
Well,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Tell us then.
All right, here we go. Sir, do you understand that so far there's a question from the legal department about this, so if you'll go ahead and share with us what's going on.
Okay, so, in the health inspection part, there's only a letter saying that you're not required, signed by you. We need something from the state saying that you don't need a health inspection.
Yes, thank you. My name is Sanjeev Bharadwaj, and actually I contacted them a number of times. They asked me, I contacted the agricultural department, then I contacted the health department, and they said that if you're not selling any food products like milk, eggs, or, anything, now, so we can't, you don't need an inspection. So I said, could you give it to me in writing? They wouldn't give it to me in writing. And actually, Tobacco and Beverage Mart, we have been in business 29 years, and we had a beer permit just 2 blocks down the road, and our lease wasn't extended. And so we decided to move. We have had the beer business and tobacco business. The only things we sell is chips and soft drinks. There's no food item. And
So this is a change of address for an existing beer
pretty
license?
much. And what happened is that I used to be a 15% partner in this, and the partners wanted to shut it down, but because I have been running the store for almost 20 years, I said, I have enough business, I'll move to another location and take my business, which is not just 2 blocks away. So I have to apply for a new beer permit.
Got it, okay, I understand, thank you.
Is this the MAPCO?
Right next to that.
Oh, right next to the MAPCO?
Yeah, between the Dollar General and O'Reilly.
Okay.
Right.
So it's not the MAPCO then?
No.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I mean, we've encountered this issue before, and they've sent emails or submitted emails in lieu of that. So I don't know who you've talked to, but we've gotten communication from the state before about the inspection not being necessary. So.
Well, I spoke to them, they told me that they'll speak to their supervisor and they will email me, and they never did. And that's like about 10, 15 days ago.
And this is from the state, is that right, Catherine?
Because it's required by statute that a health inspection is, necessary. If they do not require it, I wouldn't feel comfortable approving it without something on file from the state saying that it's not required. So I don't know if you can get like a county health inspector out there to say something about that or what. But I feel like we do need that documentation on file in case something ever happens.
And the state has done this previously?
Yes, we've run into this before.
Because when they asked me, are you selling milk, eggs, bread? None of that. This is or slushy or anything, nothing. And we have it's a carry out. There's no consumption or anything on premises.
I mean, and it was a similar setup with a convenience store. They're selling chips, candy, that kind of thing. And it's all prepackaged and they're not, doing anything. So
it's required under statute, but Department of Ag, I guess is who does the inspection, they will not do the inspection or just say it's not required even though it's required under statute?
yeah, I guess it's within their regs or something.
So they're saying that it's not required, but they're also saying we're not putting anything on paper either.
Right.
So.
Ron?
Well, building, I missed the boat on that, I think. What was the building's holdup on this?
We haven't heard that yet. No, it's
Well, I thought we did hear some of it.
Oh,
Okay.
she just had
I
the
didn't,
it's illegal.
Just legal.
yeah, this is the legal
Okay.
Yeah.
part of it. With building, there's no comments that I could see in the system.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
don't know.
Would it have been if he got a letter from the local health department, or do he have to have a letter from local and state?
Good question, Catherine.
She just need documentation to CYA.
I would feel better if it was from the state. I don't know if the local health department could help him out. Maybe they have contacts that they can,
Because,
get a response from the state faster, or, I don't know.
at the previous store, we never had the health department ever come over there. And we didn't have any health certificate or anything over there, like how we have in restaurants or things like that.
Okay. All right, I would encourage, what we would ask you to do is reach back out to the State Department of Agriculture and explain to them that they need to, that they have done this in the past, that we have it in our files.
Okay.
Am I saying that correctly? Okay, all right, I want to make sure. And ask them if they could at least send you an email saying that the inspection is not necessary.
Okay.
And if
Okay,
they need to reach out to me,
right.
you can let them know that as well.
Right.
And, we can get you my number.
Yes, let's
after
get
the
you
meeting.
Catherine's name and number. She's legal counsel, so let her get, so if they've got a question, then they need to call her
Okay.
directly. Okay. Now, the second issue is building has not passed. Zach, can you shed any light on that?
Is this the 8126?
Yes.
East Brenner? So, Brian Malone said, I tried to contact 8126 East Brenner Road all day yesterday and voicemail was full.
Yeah, because I've just got my fiber optic done, and it wasn't working in the morning. So somebody came by in the afternoon
Okay.
and fixed it.
Okay.
All right.
So, I would suggest, is it gonna have to be passed anyway?
Yes.
So I would suggest just calling Brian if you have trouble. I can give you my number, I know.
Right. Yeah.
I'll try to get a hold of him and put him in touch with you. If you'll hang out, I'll talk to you.
Okay.
All right, that's great. So we're going to have to pass this to the next meeting. Is there a motion to pass it?
I make a motion to pass, beer 1274 to the next meeting.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ron Smith. All in favor, Zach, excuse
I
me.
just have a question. If he can get this done from the state and from building, is he good to get it issued? If so, can regulatory issue it even though you're passing it to the next meeting?
Yes, yes, they can.
I just
Yes,
need clarity. Thank you, Ida.
yes, they can. Okay.
That motion, second.
Yeah, motion second. All in favor of passing this to the next meeting signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, approved. All right, if you'll,
Can I have?
yes, sir.
So that means I will not be able to sell any beer. I know I will not be able to sell, but if I get this letter and I hand it over to you also, would it be possible?
Yes, then that will automatically, if you meet the building and the legal question, as soon as they both approve it, then it will automatically be approved by regulatory. You won't have to come back here.
So I won't have to come back for.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Next
Bertha?
applicant, representing Hoptown Downtown, Ryan Hargrove is making application to engage in the sale of consumer beer at 1617 Rossville Avenue. Mr. Hargrove has not had a beer permit for this location in the past. The location is owned by Jane DeBarge and is zoned UCX.
Question. Mr. Hargrove, have you been sworn in?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Just wanted to make sure. Okay.
I'm glad you asked, because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I wasn't sure either. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, okay, good.
So it's holding for building and legal.
Oh,
All right.
The building was just done. I just texted the guy because when I heard the conversation earlier.
Okay. All right, let's, tell us about your project.
Yes, sir. So currently, right now, it is in that location is Fountainhead Tap Room. They have a self-serve beer. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that when they apply.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with that. Yes.
We are changing that concept to just a traditional bar like we have in our location in Ooltewah and Cambridge Square.
Right.
The self-serve things is cool. I think it's it's a niche market. It might be neat for tourists. That's not necessarily my goal. My goal is to have just a neighborhood kind of spot for people to come and enjoy a beer after work. But to answer your question, very similar to what we do in Ooltewah, just small menu of food, beer, and also cocktails.
Okay. Questions from board members? Ron?
Just for my edification, all that self-serve stuff,
Yes, sir.
is that a lot of tearing out to get rid of that, or how, or do you?
I'm hoping I can sell some of those components because it was very expensive. I mean, I'm theoretically, I'm purchasing that, but not going to be using it. But for me to change it over to just a regular draft system, I think I know what I'm doing.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as the actual components of that, it's worth a lot of money. I'm hoping I can maybe sell it.
Are you gonna also be serving, alcohol, TAB, will you be required, or just beer?
Yes, sir. I'm in the final stages of actually submitting my application with them. Yes, sir.
All right, very good. All right, now, we had issues in building and,
So building has approved it as of a few minutes ago.
all right, so that's good, so now we're down to legal.
I just signed off on it.
Okay, all right, very good, okay. So see, if it all works, it works. All right, any further questions from, any of the board members? Now, this is on Rossville Avenue, where,
So right behind Fire Hall.
oh yeah, okay, I know where it is, yeah. I'm just trying to think where it is on Rossville Avenue itself. Reginald?
Isn't it at a niche, what was that place?
Exile?
What, Exile? Is it down there?
Yes.
No, that,
Okay, all right, yeah. So, do you have any outdoor seating?
No, sir. Okay, so as of right this minute, yes.
Okay.
That building next door to it is owned by someone else that it was just sold. And so the outdoor seating that's in the middle of the two buildings technically belongs to that
Got it.
other building. So unfortunately, I think we're going to lose that, but
Okay. Well, if you do, we would caution you in that area, if you do have outdoor seating, watch your noise.
Yes, sir.
Closely.
And
Because-
we've had conversations with the landlord about that because actually above us, there are residential units. And so, we are not going to be a place like some others. I mean, I plan on closing at 11.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
No, I mean, I think the loudest thing that I would like to hear there is not music, it will be college football.
Okay, all right, I got you.
And your days of operation, I know you said closing at 11, is that even on weekends too?
Yes, sir. Yeah. That's what we've adopted in our place in Ooltewah, and I don't want my staff getting home at 3 a.m.
Right.
And I don't want, nothing really good happens very late.
But Ooltewah is totally different from where you are now.
For sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, questions, Ron?
What's the occupancy of this building?
113.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Bertha?
Thank you.
I think. I'm 99% sure.
Okay.
I can look on my,
Well, just knowing that occupancy level includes you and everybody that's working there at the same time, so
yes, sir.
just.
Bertha?
Do you have the overview permit for the previous?
With me? It's probably on the wall in the building there. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, if you would, when you get your new license, if you would sign that and date it, that you're surrendering that, so we can have it in, so we don't have two beer licenses associated. And if you just get it to Bertha.
Okay.
When you do that, that's fine.
Okay.
And what time you say you're opening?
Noon.
Monday through,
Monday through Sunday, yeah, all week long. Yeah, the same hours, 12 to 11.
All right. All right, further questions? All right, is there a motion to approve?
Can I ask one more question, I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
Are you having music as well?
Yes, but not a, I mean, music that you would hear when you're walking around Target, you know, like just, it's not gonna be a place like you mentioned a few minutes ago.
It's just gonna be on the little jukebox.
Probably not even a jukebox. I don't really prefer those. Somebody wants one in our location now, but we're family friendly, so if there's, I mean, my kids come to my work sometimes, and so I don't want people playing certain music that we don't approve of, so we just have it on Spotify.
Got it. All right, very good. All right, is there a motion to approve the application?
So moved.
All right, motion by Ron, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion to the motion? All righty, I'll call the roll. Brooke?
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Betsy?
Yes.
Reginald?
Yes.
JW?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Veronica?
Yes.
Christie? Yes. All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you and good luck.
I know. I think he understands now.
Yeah, but I think people say what they have to say.
I know, yes, I agree. We'll see. Okay.
Looks like neighborhood.
Okay. There are no beer violations. That's a good thing. Discussion, we're in the discussion period now. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, yes, I apologize. Okay. We're going back to Nougat Taps. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, David? David, let's wait. We're gonna wait just a second, let him finish that conversation. And then we'll do this. Zach, we're on Nougat, on number 2, Nougat Taps. And this is the beer,
Yeah, that's the one we was texting about.
Okay, so my question is, can you have a permanent beer permit issued without a building?
No.
I know you can have a temporary, but can you have a permanent permit issue with no building? I approved it on zoning.
Right.
Building put it on hold, which basically, it probably could have been skipped, but then there would be no point of discussion. So it's not necessarily the zoning or building lane, but it's a question that we have, should it have made it past intake if there's no building for a permanent permit, not a temporary. So essentially, a mobile food unit cannot and will not be issued beer permits or liquor licenses or anything like that, right? So in this situation, there's a vacant lot, and basically what you have is a mobile beer unit. So it's kind of circumventing the idea there. So my question would just be, I just wanted to make sure was discussed, was, can you be issued a permanent beer permit with no building associated with it?
All right, so before you, before you came, we were discussing this since it was early on. And one of the things that is that the building that is on the site, the electricity will be coming from that building to these food truck sites. So I envision this like a mobile home park where everybody has a place they can plug in. Am I correct in that? Am I correct? Is my vision correct in that?
Five spaces that have power for it.
That have power.
Food trucks.
So Zach, one of the questions was, could that be the building? But then if that is the building, then everything that's wrong with that building will need to be fixed.
And is that building on the same parcel? Because it's my understanding it's a vacant lot. So that building would be a different parcel and a different address, am I correct or am I incorrect?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's correct, but it could be. But it was part of the existing building that was there that burned down.
That burned down.
We're talking 1511 Williams, right?
Correct.
I'm gonna go ahead and just pull it back up again on GIS.
That's right.
It's one, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's one.
There is a slab there that's
Slab
left
from
from
where
where
that
the
building
building
was,
burned. Right,
originally was,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
But the rest, the other building is still there.
Right.
You know, so.
So there is no quote-unquote 1511. There's 1513, which is owned by Chattanooga Southside Properties LLC.
And that should still be Bobby Colvin, I'm pretty sure.
That's parcel 145 LC21. And just confirm this is the space. There's 16th. Is this the space here?
Yes, it is.
So there's no building on that parcel?
Correct.
Is this the building you're talking about?
Yes.
That's on 1515. It's a different parcel, number 21.01. So that's the issue that
So it's on a separate parcel.
it is.
Okay.
Property is the vacant lot.
So this is gonna require.
The building that they're talking about is here on a different parcel. The building right below it.
I see it.
So you have a vacant lot there, and then the building that they were assuming was on the same
And-
lot is a different parcel, different address.
So we're looking where the
So you're looking at
locator,
right here.
where the locator is.
Correct.
Right, okay, and, get it.
So I just want to make sure that was brought up.
Okay.
Like I said, from a zoning point of view, they could operate there and there's no distance issues there.
Right.
But, and so the building is a different parcel, different address underneath, and then that's the.
Can I ask a question? The applicant,
Yes, sir.
your truck will be permanently there, or are you
Yes.
planning for it to travel?
No.
How easy is it, or hard is it to make your truck technically a permanent building?
Not hard at all, but that's the questions I've been trying to ask for a long time. Do I need to make it to where it's bolted to the ground, or do we need to put something else there in general, just anything else? But I can make the vehicle be attached to the ground. We don't even have to move the vehicle ever. It could just be part of that
Vehicles, not.
Be permanent
artistic
structure.
downtown structure, So,
I know at some point, a lean-to was discussed, about potentially being built, like a lean-to or a shed of some sort.
whatever we need to, that's what we've been trying to figure out, if we need to put something permanent there or not, but we haven't got any answers.
Zach, can you shed any light on that? I know it's kind of outside your bailiwick a little bit, but,
So I just kind of dealt with a very similar situation with a mobile food unit. They wanted to build, basically they took and pulled their food truck up and set it here, and then they brought in an accessory building. And at first they had stated that it was just for the customers to come in. They cut some holes in the back of the building so that they could pull right up to it and serve through the windows. And they said it was just for shelter for the patrons. And it turned out that it was full-on seating area, storage. They had electricity run with multiple drop cords and all kinds of stuff. Plus, it was never attached properly to the ground. It's a fabricated building, so it'd have to have full set of stamp engineered plans, building permit pulled. It'd have to go through the entire building permit process, so on and so forth. So I'm not saying it's a no, because I really hate that, but I'm saying it's possible. I just don't know if it's possible the way you're initially describing it, the way you kind of envision it right now. Or maybe it is possible, but you just have to comply with all the requests, or requirements to get that building permit all the way through and get a CO issued.
Would it be I guess, beneficial for him to speak with building to see what would need to be done in order to make this viable?
I would suggest so we offer a free pre-submittal meeting that you can, get your plans done. You can come in person, we do it on Zoom. And then you have a designee from all the departments, building, MEP, zoning, CDOT, everybody's pretty much in there. Stormwater, just everybody's pretty much in there for whatever is needed. And you got a 30-minute to an hour time block. And then you can run your idea past them, and then everybody could tell you if it will work or not, or if it will work, what they'll need. And it's really just an informational session that's it's very beneficial, but you don't have to have a set of plans or anything to do it. It would help if you had a good layout. You could email that to everybody and they could look at it prior to, and you could have a beneficial conversation. I would recommend that. It's a pre-submittal meeting. You just need to call and get that set up with the LDO, with the permit clerk.
Is that something he would just call and make an appointment?
That's correct. You just have to get on the schedule. The issue I would have, the biggest issue is the mobile food units are not allowed to sell alcohol. They're not allowed to be issued permits.
Correct, and that's where I was coming in to.
And so I know we had a temporary event. Are you the same guy that has the old cars?
Yes.
That had the temporary event?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. So for a temporary event, that's one thing. But for permanent, and we kind of had talked about this even with the temporary event, it's basically, if he doesn't have food, is it a mobile food unit? Is it a loophole? What is it? So, I think it would just have to be looked at and decided on.
Okay.
And then, so if he turns it into a building, is it mobile? So I just think he needs a pre-sub meeting with everybody and let that bounce around. He sends his plans in and then we all look at it prior to and have a discussion, and he can pretty much plan on walking away from that discussion with a hopefully a clear path forward.
Okay. Well, that's great. That's a step in the right direction. Any further discussion?
I think you're.
One question.
Yes,
I don't
Zach.
want to take too much of a rabbit hole, but how difficult is it to make make two map parcels one map parcel? And would that solve the problem?
I didn't hear that, I'm sorry.
That I don't know the answer to. Would you repeat the question,
How
please?
difficult is it to make what is now two map parcels one map parcel?
So being that one is identified as 21.01 means the 21 was the master parcel, and it already got split out to B2 for whatever reason, I don't know. It can be combined back. The property owner would have to talk to the RPA, Regional Planning Agency, and see about, getting that approved through them. So lot lines, parcel lines, split outs, combinations, all that stuff goes through the Regional Planning Agency, and they're a combination of the city and the county. So they would be the one to answer that. It's possible, though.
So the way I understand that, so then if that is done, then the building inspection would inspect the building that's on the property.
Assuming that's where the beer and everything would be sold out of.
Okay,
So-
it's not, but that's
Yeah,
not.
so I take it kind of like,
Yeah.
what is it, Slicks that has the building and they have everything, but they actually do the cooking in the mobile food unit behind there and the Airstream or whatever they have, right? So there's a place in Knoxville that they're I forget the name of it, but they're real cool. And there's a couple places here, and they have all the alcoholic beverages and everything that they do there in the building. Then the food trucks, they have like a food truck bay or 3 bays where food trucks come in because they don't do any food like that, right? But this would be the opposite. This would be the alcohol coming in mobile in that situation.
Right.
So just for clarity, think about it like that. So to do that, he would have to find a way legally, which I'm an outside the box. I love that I'm an outside the box thinker. So if there's a way he could do it, I think it'd be great. But I just think it would just need to be some communication between legal and building to find out if they can satisfy the requirements to be able to put everybody's stamp on it and, just have a defendable position of
So do
why
you
we
think
allowed it, right?
the pre-meeting might be the first, at least get everybody on the understanding what the problem is?
I would highly suggest that. I would also suggest talking to, probably Brian Malone directly, about the idea of, or the possibilities of doing that.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe it would be prudent to explore that with legal as far as, because at the end of the day, it's gonna have to be your decision as far as if it remains mobile. If it gets turned into a building, then it falls back to the LDO, right? But if it remains mobile, it's really your decision on whether that can happen or not, because that lies
Right.
in your lane. But those are just some of the things we talked about in approving this. Could we even approve it? So, well, I guess technically we have to approve it because of the use and the distance. But we were concerned because we also enforce in zoning mobile food units and the operation of those as far as the location and permits and all kinds of stuff. And this, it's just very close, right? So just brought up some concerns.
My thought is if we go to what Zach suggested and combine the parcels, that you could potentially treat it as a parklet, so that the beer permit extends through the vacant lot. So it'll all be considered on one permit. So that potentially could be possible. Just throwing that out there as well.
And then is it possible now, if they're connecting parcels?
If they're two different parcels, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because it's two different locations.
Right.
And a beer permit is tied
per
to the
location.
location.
Right.
What if the bar is attached physically to the ground? Are we even having this conversation? On that one parcel, if it's, this structure is put there and all I have is a cooler here or an ice chest here serving that canned beer, what's the difference? Does he have to combine both the parcels for that to even happen? Or does that structure just have to be attached to the ground?
It'd go back to the
And that's it.
requirement of,
You gotta go through city.
it'd go back to them as far as the requirement for a permanent beer permit, having a building, whatever that requirement is.
Then that's what you run into again.
What's the requirement under that, though, is what?
So I think, sorry, Zach Yanis, I think one of the challenges too that we have with the code is that a permanent beer permit is gonna require a building inspection approval. But then, for instance, one of the things that I'm looking at is throughout the beer code, we use the word premises, which I think encompasses more than a building. A premise can be a location, land, it could be more than that.
Right.
And so that's, perhaps from legal's perspective, we can also try to do some research in the distinction and see if there's a way of resolving that discrepancy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can't take any action today. Unfortunately, very unfortunately. But at least we,
No, it's
okay.
Can I just make a motion to put it 30, 60 days out? Let him decide how he's gonna move, and then let it come back on the agenda?
Okay.
When does it expire? When does his application expire?
6 months from when it was considered complete. And so, do you know when that was, or?
We submitted the application on August 2nd.
August what?
Second.
August 2nd.
So we're good.
February is the 6th one.
Of this year?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So he had decisions that he had to make, instead of just letting it keep on sitting here and we
Right.
just going, trying to see which way he's gotta take, 'cause it's gonna be
So,
his decision.
Some Robert's help here. I'm trying to remember how this would work. If it's tabled, can we bring it back from the table when it's appropriate? I can't remember how that works.
If it's tabled, you can bring it back. Also, according to the code, you can only table it once. So, after it's brought off the table, we're gonna have to do something with it.
Okay.
So,
Then I think we pass it to the next meeting.
To the next meeting?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask a question. This meeting you're talking about, Zach, is that a monthly thing or is that
So they're held, so there's 2 or 3 meetings on every Tuesday and Thursday, but you just have to get on the schedule. I'm on the emails, but I'm not privy to the actual schedule. I could put you in touch with the lady that you need to talk to. So I'm not, I can't, I know you're gonna ask me how soon can you get scheduled? And the answer to that is, I don't have that answer.
Hey, Ron, and Ron,
I don't have that answer. I would suggest maybe passing it, maybe 30 days, and then if it's quicker than that, and he can get everything resolved, then could regulatory not approve that without it actually having to wait? I would
Yes, they could.
be a question I would have.
yeah, Ron, and I just went through that. They're going to give him actions and details. It's going to be a long, lengthy process. And so I think they put me 30 days out, 45 days out. So it's going to be a process with him. That's why I said 60 days out. When he's going through that and getting on, you may get on the calendar, but we get into the
well,
holidays
it
too.
doesn't matter how far if he gets some, some action there, he can come right back to regulatory to take care of it. So.
Also, he may not decide to go that route. He might decide to pursue other routes. So if he does pursue another route, he should be able to come back sooner than the 60 days.
Well, I sure hope this is worth your time and effort.
I hope. We still don't know yet.
I know.
So.
All right. So,
Let's table to the next, put it past the next meeting.
yeah, is there a motion?
I make a motion that we pass, Beer 1257 to the next meeting.
All right, is there a second? All in favor of approving that motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Opposed, all right. Hang in there.
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right.
And that's October the 3rd?
The next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, back to discussion now. Thank you, Zach. Thank you very much. Back to discussion on DUI recommendations into city council. As you know, at our last meeting, we had 2 applicants that had previous DUIs. That is a disqualifying factor for them. So and this was a corporate application, and so they were able to take them off and put someone else from the corporate office on that. So that solved that, but do you think we should, and I believe in my institutional knowledge, I think Ron, has that ever come up before? I don't ever remember us dealing with that since I've been on the board. Is someone having a DUI and being disqualified from getting their license because they have a DUI and it's been less than 10 years. Isn't that right, Catherine?
Right. So what happened last time is that there were actually 3 applications. There were 2 Red Lobsters and then one other restaurant. The 2 Red Lobsters, they were owned by a corporate entity, so the code requires that anyone owning for 5% or more be on the application. Since it's a corporation, you can stick one of the corporate officers on the application. And so they already had a corporate officer, so they just took the 2 managers off. They did not need to be on the application. The third was a person who had a DUI. It was 7 years ago. There was on section, I think it was 5-45. Let's see. There was a little bit of ambiguity in the code. Was it 5-45 or was it something else? Yes, 5-45F. No permit required by this division shall be issued where a person, firm, joint corporation, joint stock company, syndicate, or association having at least 5% ownership interest and the applicant has been convicted of any violation of the laws against possession, sale, manufacture, or transportation of beer or alcoholic beverages, or any crime involving moral turpitude within the last 10 years. And then it goes on. But the question was, does a DUI qualify as a violation of the law against the possession, sale, manufacture, or transportation of beer? And that was not clear in the code. I mean, technically, I guess you could make the argument you're possessing alcohol in your body and transporting it by driving, but, you know, and as we also discussed, I spoke with the TABC, and it's not a disqualifying event for the TABC. So, but that's the state, this is the city, we have different rules, so that's something else to consider.
So for this to be cleared up, it would require a change in the code, city code.
Right, well, it could be handled a couple of different ways. One, it could stay as is, and you could just interpret it the way that you interpreted it last time, where DUI does not fit in this. The issue with that is that, you know, boards change.
Yeah.
So boards could change their interpretation of this code. Or you could suggest to the city council, to make some changes to this particular provision, either including it as a prohibiting factor or saying that it shouldn't prohibit anybody. And that way, it's clear in the code and everybody follows the same thing.
And that would put us in line with what the state of Tennessee does. They don't even consider it, do they?
They don't, it's not a prohibiting factor for them. I don't know if it's in the statute or not.
Okay, got it.
It might just be operating procedure for them. That could be their interpretation of it. I'm not quite sure.
Gotcha, okay.
I thought last meeting, we recommended that it goes to city council to get clarity.
We did. We did.
We did.
Did city council say anything?
No.
And so, if I can, Chair, I think I make a motion that it goes, this DUI recommendation goes to city council, we get clarity on what it means, and then we come back, then bring it for discussion.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Second. Now, discussion to the motion. Yes, ma'am. Discussion to the motion. Catherine, did you say that we have the, I'm not going to say authority, but we have the ability to say we don't have to follow that if we don't want to? Or we interpret it differently?
I did not say that.
I know, that's why I'm saying.
You got the camera right there.
Oh, that's okay.
The camera.
So so
You have the authority to interpret the code.
that's the word I was looking for, thank you.
So it's however you see fit. You also can make recommendations to city council as to any potential code changes as well.
Okay, and it's, and this, our code has the 10-year window in it.
Yes. And that's quite common across a lot of different ordinances that I've looked at.
Okay.
And it's in the statute as well.
In Chattanooga, okay.
So I believe that the discussion and the recommendations that we made last meeting was for city council to clarify, is DUI on a background check, is it a prohibitor or not? So that was one of the recommendations that we were making to the city board. Because the code does not state DUI in there.
Right, because if I remember, I think we were waiting for them to clarify to us before we had discussion as to what our recommendations would be.
Okay, that's it.
Is that correct?
That's
Okay.
right. So I guess, I guess to reiterate then, is we would like to ask the city council for clarification on this issue. Now, I know the city council is going to turn around to the legal department and say, okay, we need a clarification. Am I right, Catherine?
I mean,
Yeah.
you're not 100% wrong.
Well, that's all we can do. That's all we can do, is ask for clarification.
Last meeting is, we have seen some pretty horrific DUI situations in
Sure have.
this room
Absolutely.
over the years. This was the first time I think we had one with a single owner, and he had done a pretty good job of keeping himself clean. He went through the programs, he got out of it, and he's gone for 7 years. He's opened business, and then this was his second, I guess, in this type of industry. And he felt that he was on the right track. But there's many of them that come through here that do not, you know that they're not on the right track. And you ought to have the discretion there to say no.
And hopefully we'll get that after city council and we can then add that in there. But we have to make sure there's a standard of something that we're standing on.
Agree with the standard because I don't want to get into a moral issue.
Correct. That's why I was going.
Yeah, because what we've learned is we cannot be arbitrary in we can't say, this is what it is for you, and the next person, it's got to be a consistent application of the rules and regulations.
Correct.
Across the board.
And that's why it needs to be either included in the law.
That 5-45.
So I know we have a motion and a second, I think.
No.
No, we don't.
Yes, second, Veronica. Yes.
Okay, Veronica, thank you.
Yes.
Catherine, would our legal counsel then reach out to city council?
Yeah, afterwards, I sent an email to, Chris and let him know.
Okay.
This is what
Okay, so we're in the process.
thinking
Okay.
is. So I have to talk to Phil about how that gets before the
Yes,
council, whether
okay.
it's like attorney-client session or, you know,
Right.
it's actually on the agenda.
On the agenda.
So I don't know.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion to the motion?
What's the motion again? Read the motion again.
That we send this back, DUI recommendation back to city council, get clarity, and then we come back and we can discuss it, what that means.
All right, and then that's the second, so, all right. All in favor of approving that motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, very good, thank you. So, Kathy? Ma'am?
Yes.
No, I don't think it comes back on the agenda till Catherine reports back to us.
Yeah.
Is
I
that,
can
is
let
that?
you know to put it on the agenda and we can discuss.
Is that the pleasure of the board, that there's no sense in us discussing it again until we have feedback?
That's correct.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All righty. Anybody wishing to address the board? Yes, sir. You'll have 3 minutes, and if you would, state your name for the record and speak up so we can hear.
Sure, I'm Corey Petrie. I think Corey Petrie, Petree. I think I'm here unnecessarily, so hopefully this makes your job easy.
That's okay.
But I had a temporary event permit application. I do have the permit. I think I was just under the understanding I had to come here. It's TE 53 for a joint effort, which is probably on the last agenda.
Okay. Would you look that up? Can we look that up and see if all the boxes have been checked?
It was issued on September 6th.
Yeah, so I just, for future clarification, for temporary event permits, I'm not necessarily required to appear.
That's correct. Once it's approved through regulatory, then you're done. You don't have to come before us.
I spoke with a gentleman on the phone and I was like, so the only thing I have left to do is to appear before the board. He's like, yeah, I think that's right. So I just.
Yeah, no,
Here I am.
we're going through this process of changing the way we've done things. So everybody's in the learning curve right now to figure out how the new system
Okay,
works.
I just wanted to make sure I was on the up and up, so I appreciate you guys.
That's great. Well, thank you very much.
This is all very interesting.
Oh, thank you, Corey. Oh, there's never a dull moment at the beer board. Okay. Okay. Any further discussion from any board members? I would like to thank everybody for being here. Zach, welcome again. We're glad you're with us. And it's nice to have a full board. It's been a long time since we've had a full board membership, so I'm glad we're here. So.
Mr. Chair, if I can.
Yeah.
I don't know, Catherine, just that last case of wanting to sell beer out of the car. I really want us to be clear on whatever that looks like and however we approach it, because many people will come thereafter.
Yeah.
Thinking that they can get a permit to sell their beer out of a car. Just want us to really be careful and just watch that, or however it's gonna go through. Because the only thing he is doing is selling beer out of the cooler, out of his car.
Right.
I just know that once things start getting improved and hearing how many people watch us and hear us, and they think that'll be a great hustle just to get a beer permit.
All right, thank you very much. All right, is there a motion or Catherine, do you have anything else you need to say?
Yeah, I do. Before we adjourn, I need to get with everyone. We need to have our annual ethics training and with the new beer board members about the code and Robert's rules and everything.
Okay.
So if you could, please let me know, like, when y'all are available within the next couple of weeks, probably before the next beer board, because I don't want too many sessions to pass without.
Would it be, I would prefer to see us do it like immediately after a beer board meeting. If we're gonna, there's no sense in us, somebody correct me, y'all speak up on this. I think if we could do it adjacent to a beer board meeting immediately after the meeting. So I guess it would require us to reserve the conference room and this room.
Because it'll be like an informational meeting, so it'll be closed. I will say that I won't be here on the 3rd though, so it'll have to be the second meeting in
Okay, that would be fine, Kevin. Just let us know, and if you would let Bertha know, and so we see it on our agenda when we get it ahead of time. And in the past, I think that's taken, what, 30 minutes?
30 minutes to it out. It might be a little bit longer this time because we've had all the beer changes and, we're still working the kinks out of the process.
So about an hour then, so that's great. All right, that would be great then. All right, is there a motion to, ma'am?
So you're saying the second meeting in October, which is the 17th?
Yes.
17.
Officer P, can you check to see if the room adjacent is available on the 17th?
You see that? You got an action there, buddy.
All right, shall we wait to see if it's available, or does it really matter? It doesn't matter. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
All right, motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody being here today.